When people talk about Elon Musk, they talk about rockets, they talk about Tesla, they talk about money. But almost nobody asks quite a question. What kind of stories shape a mind that wants to change the future of humanity? Because before Elon Musk built machines, literature trained his imagination. Section 1, Why Literature Matters Before Technology. Let us begin here. Literature does something technology cannot do alone. It prepares the mind for possibility, collapse, responsibility, and fear. Engineering teaches you how to build. Literature teaches you why you should build and when you should stop. This is why Elon Musk did not grow up only on textbooks and questions. He grew up reading stories that asked dangerous questions, stories that imagined the end of civilizations, stories that laughed at power, stories that warned about intelligence without ethics. Let us now walk through these books, not as a list, but as a literary domain and theories that shaped his thinking. Section 2, Science Fiction as Speculative Literature. One of the most important literary influences on Musk is Foundation by Isaac Asimov. Academically, this belongs to speculative fiction, a genre that asks what happens if we extend today's problem into the future. Asimov presents a terrifying idea. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, and history moves in cycle. This connects directly to theories of historical determinism and grand narrative, ideas students study in cultural theory. For Elon Musk, this was not entertainment, this was training. If civilizations collapse, how do we preserve knowledge? How do we ensure survival? How do we shorten the darkness of decline? This is where Mars enters the imagination, not as fantasy, but as backup. Here, literature becomes future planning. Now, section 3, Satire, Absurdism, and Humility. Section 3, Satire, Absurdism, and Humility. Now, let us turn to a very different book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This is satire, absurd science fiction, a comedy. Academically, this connects to absurdism and postmodern irony. The universe in this novel is chaotic, authority is ridiculous, certainty is mocked. One of the deepest lessons here is simple but profound. Do not take power too seriously. This explains something many people misunderstand about Elon Musk. His humor, his memes, his refusal to appear traditionally serious. This is not immaturity, it is literary humility. Literature teaches him that intelligence without humility turns into arrogance, and arrogance destroys civilization. Section 4, Political Fiction and Resistance. Another important text is The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. This belongs to political science fiction. It explores revolution, power, and resistance. Here we can connect it to a social contract theory, to ideas of state control, and to counter hegemonic thought. The novel argues that freedom is not gifted, it is negotiated, defended, engineered. This explains Musk's discomfort with centralized authority, whether political, corporate, or bureaucratic. From literature, he learns that systems must be questioned, especially when they claim performance. Section 5, Epic Literature and Moral Weight. Now we move to a different literary universe altogether, The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is epic literature, myth, moral imagination. Academically, this connects to Jungian archetypes and Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. But the most important lesson Tolkien teaches is this: power always comes with corruption. The hero is not the strongest, the hero is the one willing to carry unbearable responsibility. This is why Elon Musk repeatedly warns about artificial intelligence, not because he hates technology, but because literature taught him to fear power without ethics. Tolkien shows us that saving the world is exhausting, and that lesson stays. Section 6, Biography and Humanism. Elon Musk also reads biographies, especially those written by Walter Isaacson. Books like Benjamin Franklin, An American Life, and Einstein, His Life and Universe. Academically, these belong to humanist literature and intellectual. Franklin represents polymathy, writing, science, diplomacy, and invention. Einstein represents rebellion against rigid systems, against blind authority. From these lives, Musk learns that cross disciplinary thinking is not distraction, it is strength. Literature here teaches courage, the courage to think differently. Now we come to a book that truly unsettles him, Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom. This is philosophy, ethics, post-humanist thoughts. The central question is terrifying. What happens if intelligence surpasses human control? This book connects directly to posthumanism and technological determinism. Some books inspire Elon Musk, some books frighten him. This one does both. Here, literature becomes a warning, a moral alarm bell. Now, pause. Let us speak directly to the student of literature. Literature did not make Elon Musk successful, but literature trained his mind before power arrived. It taught him to imagine collapse before triumph, responsibility before ambition, ethics before innovation. This is what literature does at its highest level. So, when someone tells you that literature has no future, that it is impractical, that it has no real world impact, remember this. Before rockets reach the sky, stories train the mind, build them. If literature can teach one person to imagine the survival of humanity, it can teach you to imagine courage, dignity, and change in your own life. The future is not born in laboratories alone, it is first written quietly in books. Thank you.